To bargain for war's freedom, Death swore that he would resurrect humanity.
2 years ago, Darksiders flew under the radar for many, but it was a gem for those who picked it up. Not many people were aware of what would become a sleeper hit of 2010, and THQ was sure to avoid letting history repeat itself. With Darksiders 2, THQ went all out with advertising to ensure that every single person knew of its existence. And it's great that the sequel is receiving more attention than the original, because Darksiders 2 is one of those games that everyone should know about because it's nothing short of spectacular.
Be no life without order. Good, evil, darkness, light. There must be balance in the universe.
The story has shifted away from war and now focuses more on his iconic brother, Death. Ready to take on heaven, hell and anything in between, Death rides in hope of absolving War of the crimes he currently faces. Although the journey's goal focuses on war, the story focuses greatly on fleshing out Death as a character, and in the process provides gripping details regarding the birth of the four Horsemen and the internal conflict that the Pale Rider deals with on a daily basis. The combination of Death's literal and metaphorical journey crafts a narrative that entertains till the very end. And that's no small feat, given that the campaign can last upwards of 20 hours. The switch from war to Death is more than just aesthetics. Death adopts a more agile, speedy style of combat with his dual-wielding scythes, whereas War was a heavy-hitting, unstoppable force. In order to further separate the two, Death lacks the ability to block and therefore must rely on dodging to avoid the unrelenting attacks from his foes. What we end up with is more of a roguelike character taking centre stage rather than a tank, and it's a welcome change of pace. Diving in and out of battle as you perform deadly moves, highlighted with acrobatics, always provides a rewarding feeling. This same sense of haste transitions into the platforming sections, where Death will often be seen quickly scrambling up vines, running across walls, and even leaping to and from pillars. The newfound mobility helps the flow of exploration and, more importantly, platforming sequences. Death's speedy nature aside, one aspect of the game received a major overhaul. Loot has been introduced this time around, making the game feel less like an action-adventure title and more like an RPG. Thanks to loot, breakable objects and chests are havens for better armour and weapons, just waiting to be picked up and equipped. And this is where another tweak appears. Death can be customised from head to toe in terms of equipment. At the start of the game he might be wearing basic items, but by the end he may be wearing a bone-scented harness, thorn-tipped gloves and a purple-tinted shroud. Players will find that their end-game Death will differ from that of their friends.
Ah, I see you got our little invitation. Welcome then to the Crucible!
After obtaining the items necessary to create the perfect form of Death, the Crucible awaits those ready to put their skill and skills to the test. The Crucible is a 100-wave arena that rewards players with legendary loot for achieving certain benchmarks throughout its increasingly difficult onslaughts. The game won't let players run through every wave right away though. Tarot cards must be obtained by achieving certain goals in-game. These cards unlock new groups of waves, allowing the player to progress even further. Open them all up and you'll have a shot at being the new champion. Complete all 100 waves in a single sitting and the game will offer up its highest reward. Couple the unique loot with the inclusion of leaderboards and you have a mode that is sure to get people hooked. While there is much praise to give this game, the negatives must be pointed out. Unfortunately, Death's outing isn't flawless. As is common with most large-scale games, Darksiders 2 suffers from the occasional pop-in and screen tearing. While nothing major, they are noticeable. These issues can detract from the beautiful environments and backdrops that the player becomes immersed in. More annoying than these minor visual problems is the camera itself. While in combat, the camera sometimes has an issue keeping the focus on Death, while fighting in tight spaces or areas where the player is positioned near a wall. The camera can be your worst enemy at times, allowing the creatures on screen to get a few cheap shots in while you're trying to reposition yourself.
Who are you? I am the Master of Blades, and all that remains of the warrior once called Draven, from the kingdom of man.
Even taking those issues into account, Darksiders 2 is a standout title and will no doubt be a 2012 Game of the Year contender. Whether you're new to the franchise or already a fan, Death's journey is one you should not miss. We give Darksiders 2 a 9 out of 10. For our full written review, please check out justpushstart.com. This is Oliver East, signing out.
You stink of the living, Horsemen, of souls long overdue. You are not welcome here.